Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And I am here live tonight on Monday. It's our Monday night date. Yay! I haven't seen you guys in a while. I feel like it's been forever. Welcome if you're just joining me. I will be going over This Week in Astrology all the way from September 11th, going through until September 17th, 2023. And there's quite a bit of activity this week, so I have a lot to go over. Hello, Rita, Virgo in Colorado. Welcome. You're my first one to comment. And if you're just joining me live on Facebook, 8 p.m. every Monday night, I go on Facebook on Eastern Time, New York, East Coast time frame. I am live on my Astrology Updates by Gretchen Heidel page, or I co-record at the same time and I post the previously recorded on YouTube, the replay on YouTube. So welcome if you're just joining, and go ahead and like the post below. Make sure that you comment where you're tuning in from and also your astrological sign. I love seeing the signs of people. There's a lot of activity this week in Virgo. I'll just say that. There's been a lot of activity in Virgo. I've been having a lot of my Virgo clients are going, "What is happening, Gretchen?" And I'm about to talk about that. So welcome if you're just joining. I'm going to just jump in because I have a lot to talk about, even though we don't have too many people on the broadcast just yet, but I know that they are joining and they are going to like the post and they're going to comment below so that it gets rolling in the algorithm. We are still in the retrogrades, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on in retrograde. Hey there, Gretchen, Capricorn in New Hampshire, welcome. Glad to see, okay, Sarah Leo from Vermont, welcome. I'm glad that you are joining me live here. And go ahead and like the post. So we have a bunch of activity. So remember last week, I went over, there was a bunch of things that were happening last week. The last quarter lunar cycle, we had Jupiter retrograde started. So I don't know if anybody's felt that. Hey, Kate, welcome. Wendy, Aquarius in Vermont, welcome. We had a lot of energy, and then we had the Jupiter was very active. We had Jupiter retrograde, and then Jupiter highlighted Mercury and the Sun. And darn it, I meant to print it out, but the Sun line and also Neptune line were running on either side of Morocco. Morocco was like in the middle, and then there was the Neptune and the Sun line. Well, if you remember last Friday, the Sun formed a trine with Jupiter, which means it aligned with something big, right? So there was that big earthquake. So I'm saying a lot of prayers for all those poor people in Morocco. There was a big earthquake. Now, usually we think Uranus with earthquakes, but I've definitely seen Neptune produce some earthquakes, and especially since the Sun was aligning with Jupiter on that time, for sure Jupiter made it bigger. You know, I mean, that's something that happens. So there was a lot going on there. Hey, Wendy, different Wendy, Scorpio in Almere. Hello, welcome. Taurus from Vermont. Majorca, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Sagittarius, welcome. Love that. And so we had a lot of energy going on. I don't know how anybody was feeling from last week, but we had a lot of energy with Jupiter and all that. Now we had a little, I mean, I'm calling it a break, but it doesn't feel like a break, does it? You know, a little quiet time, sort of, where there's still just some minor lunar transits and different things happening. There was some really little bit of funky energy today on Monday, on September 11th. But the real energy, the bigger energy, doesn't really start until Wednesday of this week. So that's where I'm going to begin, because I have two asteroids on the move on Wednesday on September 13th, 2023. One of them is Pallas Athena. And so if you guys have watched my broadcast for a long time, and I love that you have, Pallas Athena is an asteroid that I like to talk about. I like to talk about the asteroids because if you think about a lot of the other planets are based on the gods of Greek mythology, but we don't talk too much about the goddesses. And the reason why I like talking about these asteroids, and there's four, they call them asteroids, but some of them have been reclassified as planetoids. But there's four main asteroids in astrology, and two of the main ones are going to be moving on Wednesday. So whenever this happens, is like changing of the guard, okay? And there's like kind of stuff going on. we will start to feel it. We'll start to feel this brewing and whatever. One of them is Pallas Athena, and she is the asteroid that is, we call her sometimes Pallas Athena or Pallas Athene. In Greek mythology, she was called Minerva, and she's an asteroid, and she's going to be moving into the astrological sign of Libra. Now, Pallas Athena is kind of a badass, okay? I mean, when we talk about, she's a warrior goddess. I always nickname her, because you know how I have these nicknames just so that you guys can remember these things, and I try to make it easier so that we can sort of remember these things. And I like to make astrology a little bit more, you know, bring it down bring it down to the planet so that we can have it be a little easier. I call her Mrs. Mars, because Mars is the god of war. Well, she's the goddess of war, and she's a smart cookie. A lot of people believe that the archetype of Wonder Woman was based on Pallas Athena. And so her being in Libra is a little interesting. It's a similar kind of vibration to Mars being in Libra a little bit. Now, again, it depends on where this is in your astrological chart in order to know how will this Libra energy and having Mrs. Mars in Libra affect you. But basically, she literally was located, or is located, in the sky between Mars and Jupiter. So, and Jupiter was her daddy. Okay, it was said that in mythology, Jupiter was her father. So she is considered to be like Wonder Woman, justice, you know, mediation, being diplomatic will be all key words that we're looking for in Libra. Okay. So in Libra, she's going to be a little bit more tamed down. She's not as much of a hothead as Mars is. Mars can really, you know, kick some butt, you know. Mars is a little aggressive. She's not as aggressive. She's much more cerebral. She's much more of a chess player. She's much more of a intellectual. In fact, she has the wisdom of Big Daddy Jupiter. She has the wisdom from Jupiter. Jupiter's philosophy and education. He was smarty pants too, and she's a smarty. His daughter was smarty as well. She is said to have more masculine tendencies as a woman because she was raised without a mom. In mythology, she had no mom, so it was just Daddy Jupiter, and so that was like the mythology. You know how mythology is, it's all these crazy stories. The owl is her symbol, actually. So if you guys see an owl around this week, that could be Pallas Athena's presence. But in Libra, we're going to be strategizing in our relationships. Now we're thinking a little bit more Mars-like in our relationships, where we're sort of thinking and strategizing. Will they call? Will they text? Are they around? You know, like there's a little bit of strategy going on with that Libra. And the good news is Libra is wanting to find balance, fairness, beauty, artistic, you know, this could be all good stuff. In other words, it's action. It's not as much action as Mars, and you know, Mars can get in and muck up things. She's a little bit more cerebral and a little bit more subdued than Mars is, but still she's going to be wanting to have some kind of something. She's sort of planning things and strategizing things behind the scenes. So on Wednesday, September 13th, all the way until November 19th, she's going to be in Libra. So if you are Libra, if you know where Libra is in your astrological chart, this is where Pallas Athena is. Now, again, her being an asteroid is much more like subtle energy, like it's a subtle behind the scenes energy, but it's still something. I think there's a lot of people on here that are HSPs, highly sensitive persons, people who are more sensitive to energies than a lot of other people, and that is something that, you know, we could feel then, you know, so it's not as grumpy. You know, Mars can be pretty grumpy. It's not as grumpy as Mars, but there's still a little action there. There could be a little, because she would rather not fight, but she is not afraid to fight, and she will get into the fray. If she needs to handle business, she will handle business, but she tries to find peaceful outcomes more than Mars does. Okay. So especially being in Libra with having that Libra flavoring, she might be a lot more diplomatic. Now, the shadow side of this is there is always a shadow side to astrology. That's why it's a little complicated, and the energy is what we set the energy, or those around us are setting the energy. And so it depends on how she's flowing, if she's flowing really good. And this is applicable for all of the planets, all the things that I talk about on our Monday night broadcast. This is it. And so, you know, the shadow side of this is being a little codependent, being a little, maybe not afraid, you know, a little too afraid to not speak up, you know, a little bit trying to please everybody and make sure that, you know, oh, don't fight, you know. I mean, she's usually a badass warrior, but being in Libra, that could be her shadow side, is she tries too hard to make peace. And sometimes we just got to say, hey, no, that's not right. You know, somebody has to say something. So where she usually would, but being in Libra, she might not. So that could be the shadow side of Pallas Athena being in Libra. So many people are joining. I love this. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so Emily from Vermont, but is currently in New Jersey. Sagittarius, love that. Rosalind, hello. She said yes, and Mercury turning direct too. Yes. Holly, love that. Astro peeps. So Holly, yeah, you have the Libra sun, so this is going into the Libra. Ashley Ann said Libra is your moon. So Till, hello dear, thank you. She said looking fabulous. Wendy, oh, your mom's birthday. Well, welcome. Or I guess happy birthday to your mom. Melinda, hello. Kelly from New York. Kirsten, Capricorn in Vermont. Wow, we have a lot of people join. So anyway, that's Pallas Athena, and again, she's going to be traveling through now. She was in Virgo. I like to tell people where she just came from, so that maybe you kind of can get an understanding. She was in Virgo all the way since July 10th until this Wednesday. So for the last 2 months, she's been in Virgo. So I don't know if anybody has sensed that or felt that in their chart, or how they were interacting. She's, you know, in Virgo, she would have been much more all about the details and very aggressive a little bit about the details and the fine print and all that. Now we have a lot of other energy in Virgo too, so it might be hard to discern who's who here. But now Pallas is moving into Libra, so we have 2 months of Pallas being in Libra all the way until November 19th, where what I think is going to happen is she's going to get a little, I think where we'll see this the most is in our relationships, especially romantic, but it could just be whoever you have as a relation that you're going to be dealing with. This is Pallas Athena. Now, I said we have 2 asteroids on the move tomorrow, or on Wednesday, I apologize, on the 13th of September. The other one is Vesta. So we have Vesta was Hestia in Greek mythology, and Vesta is the goddess of home and hearth, and also she was the goddess of the sacred flame, and she really is all about safety and security. Both of these goddesses, by the way, to this day in Greek and Roman societies, they both have like temples and different things dedicated to these goddesses. So they were a very big deal back in the day. So Vesta is actually classified as a mini dwarf planet. Like I said, she used to be an asteroid, but we still call her an asteroid, but she's technically in astronomy now a mini dwarf planet, and she is the goddess of home and hearth. Now she's moving into Cancer, and guess what Cancer is? Home and family. So Vesta is going to be all about safety in the home and safety of the family. Really, I see her as safety. I always look at Vesta as safety. And a lot of astrologers, modern astrologers, believe that Vesta could be the natural ruler of Virgo. So that's something there that some Virgos might want to pay attention to, that this might be your new ruling planet if they ever reclassify her for any reason. Some people think that Chiron is Virgo, and some people think that Vesta is Virgo. Because remember, Virgo shares Mercury with Gemini, so they think that maybe one of these two might be going towards these asteroids. And so Vesta is moving into Cancer, home and family. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you all these dates for people who want to write this stuff down and people who want to know this, but it's going to be a long journey with Vesta in Cancer because she's going to go retrograde at some point in the middle of all this. So she's going to go in, she's going to go back. Now, she was in Gemini. She's leaving Gemini, and she was in Gemini all the way since June 22nd. Until now. So safety in Gemini, okay, was in your chart, and you have to know where Gemini is in your astrological chart. So now we're going to be feeling that in the area of home, family, but also think about of our emotions, emotional safety. This could be a huge thing, because we want to have emotional safety too. And that's a big, huge deal, because when we think of Cancer, we think of intuition, and we also think of emotions and sensitivity. And so that can be a very Cancerian thing. She's going to be in Cancer between September 13th all the way until December 20th. She's going retrograde. Like I said, she'll go back into Gemini, and then she'll be back into Cancer between March 31st, 2024, all the way until June 19th, 2024. So this is a really long, kind of drawn out thing. And so it's something that we're going to have to keep in mind. I will be reminding you as we get closer to those dates. So she's going to swing back, she'll go into Cancer, and then she's going to go retrograde. She's going to go back into Gemini, and then she'll go back into Cancer again. She's going to be active for a while here. So how did you feel with Vesta and Gemini all the way since June 22nd until now? Now, she is all about safety of the home. So this could be fire alarms, this could be smoke detectors, this could, what else could this be? Fences and locks on the door and security cameras and all kinds of things. It's about wanting to make the home safe, and also concern with safety of the family. And for sure, if you have a little baby running around, this is about making sure the house is baby proofed properly, because all of that is safety of home and family. And if you think of Cancer, Cancer is nurturing and children and caretaking and all that stuff. So we want everything to be really safe, whatever that means to you. Swimming pool, alarm, on the fence in the back, and whatever thing you have going on, this is all about that. And really, she is a subtler energy. She's a different energy. So remember when I just said that Pallas Athena came from Jupiter? Well, Vesta came from Saturn. So she's a different energy. She's a more subtler energy. She's a lot more, like we'll say, chill. She's more serious. She's more, like kind of more Saturn-esque, because she's much more like her dad in that way. Where Jupiter's a little bit big and over the top. That's why Pallas Athena can be dramatic a little bit. We got Vesta is much more subtle, and she's a little bit more introverted. So her going into Cancer, the crab, that's a little bit introverted too, but we want to make sure that we have safety. Now, the interesting thing about Vesta going into this Cancer, the crab situation is that United States is a Cancer. In fact, the United States has many, many planets in Cancer. And so I'm wondering about homeland security during this time, again, during these dates, over this next on and off year-ish sort of time frame. What's going to happen with the United States and homeland security. And I'm sure we're going to have much more discussions and things coming up about the borders and all kinds of things like that. Hopefully that there's not going to be any kind of an incident, but we're going to be, the US is going to be talking about this, and this is going to be a big thing with Vesta being, again, she's much more subtle, but she wants us to be safe, and that's basically what the deal is. So again, thinking about the US, but also our own homes, our own families, making sure everybody's safe and doing the thing. And again, she's a little bit more subtle, but I think the big thing with this is also emotional safety, because again, when you think of Cancer, you think of emotions and intuition. And so we want to always have emotional safety. And hey, guess what? If you don't have emotional safety in your relationships, done. Don't let Pallas Athena and Libra try to make it nice and have it be nice, and everybody should just get along. No, if you have a full out narcissist in your life, or you have some kind of situation where you're not feeling emotionally safe with a person, no, that's a no. Okay. So that's a big thing that we want to remember and keep in mind during this Vesta, in Cancer situation. She will be retrograde between November 2nd and February 8th. I will be reminding you guys of these dates as we get closer. So she will have a retrograde time, and then we were going to really review the safety thing. You know, she's just doing the initial, like, getting into Cancer. So we have a ways to go with her, but this is something that we want to keep in mind. Wendy said, perfect, out with the old wood stove and in with the new heat pump, no more coal fires. Yes, that would be good for, yeah, we want to think about that with our home. And again, where's Cancer in your astrological chart? And then you'll know specifically more how this will affect you. Again, these are subtler energies. It was interesting one time. I was doing a session for a person, and I showed her chart, and she said, well, what's that weird symbol up there? And I said, oh, well, that's Vesta, and that's in your area of career. And she goes, wait a minute, it's in my area of work and career. And I was like, yeah. And she said, well, is that why I just put in all these security alarms? I've been putting up floodlight, motion detector lights and floodlights. And she goes, I don't know why I've been obsessed with it. She goes, I made sure that the kitchen had a fire extinguisher at my workplace. And I was like, well, yeah, she said, I don't know why all of a sudden I started doing this stuff. And I was like, that's Vesta. And so that's kind of how she behaves, you know? So you have to know where it is in your chart. But especially it being in Cancer, that's going to be a long thing. So yeah, so we have two asteroids on the move. And then on Thursday, so that's on Wednesday, September 13th, on Thursday, September 14th, we have the new moon. Yay! All right, so we have the new moon in Virgo. So this is going to be 21 degrees Virgo. Where's Virgo in your chart? We got a lot of Virgo energy going on right now. Happy birthday, by the way, to all the Virgos out there. Wendy, you said Cancer's in your 4th house of home and family, so that makes sense. Kelly, 12th house. Yeah, so that's going to be behind the scenes for us, Kelly, because mine's in the 12th house also. Holly, your Cancer in the 10th, so that's safety at the workplace. That's what I was just talking about, safety at the workplace. So yeah, so we get into the new moon, okay? So happy new moon to everybody. That's going to be in Virgo. The peak or the height of it, the pinnacle of the new moon, is going to be in the evening at 9:40 p.m. Eastern time, so 6:40 p.m. if you're out on the West Coast, or in between, you got to do the math. But basically that's what the deal is. So we are going to be doing this this Virgo thing. I don't know if anybody else has been cleaning out your closets, cleaning out the shed, doing all this kind of stuff. I mean, it's been a lot of you know, the RE of Mercury Retrograde. There's been a lot of redoing, revising and reorganizing, reconnecting, all these different things. And so this Virgo, wherever Virgo is, we have a lot of energy there. And that's basically where this new moon is going to be taking place. This particular new moon is kind of interesting. It's going to be forming an alignment with Jupiter and also Uranus on that day. It'll be interesting, but they're actually going to be positive. They're trines, you know, so if you think about this is a thing with this nice trine. So I actually think this particular new moon could be a positive new moon. We've had some intense new moons, especially during that last, like, super whatever it was the last time. I felt like that new moon was almost like a full moon of last month. This is more like a normal new moon. And so, yay. So 9:40 p.m. So again, you want to write out your new moon manifestation list, write down all the things on the list that you want to bring into your life, fold it up, put it under your pillow, sleep with it for 2 weeks, and then burn and destroy it on the next full moon. This full moon is going to be coming at the end of the month. That's going to be on Friday, on September 29th, and that is going to be the last of a trio of 3 months, or I should say 3 months worth of super moons. That's going to be another super moon at the end of the month, and that's going to be in Aries in my sign. I'm not looking forward to that being the super moon, but it's going to be a lot. So this new moon in Virgo on Thursday is a big one, and it's going to be a nice one, I think, a normal new moon, like I said, and this is all about Virgo. So again, we want to think about the details, the fine print. We're doing a lot of the Virgo stuff, you know. Virgo is our health, it's organization and perfection and sort of going through and trying to fix things that are broken, because I nicknamed Virgo the quality control officer of the zodiac. It's about finding what is wrong with something and then fixing it. That's kind of a very Virgo way of doing things. It's all the fine print. And so, we gotta sometimes look, we have a lot of big picture stuff. Last week was a lot of big picture stuff with Jupiter. By the way, if you guys didn't see last week's video, because I wasn't live last week, I had taken off the Monday night live for Memorial Day, but I still recorded a video on YouTube. So if you didn't get a chance to watch about Jupiter retrograde, because that's going to be active all the way until Jupiter retrograde is going to be retrograde all the way until the end of December, December 30th. Go ahead and watch it after this broadcast is over on YouTube. But basically, Jupiter's all that big picture, but it's like definitely things are falling through the cracks, with Jupiter. So now with this new moon, we want to think about the details. So maybe if you're thinking about things, it's a little bit like, oh, that's funny. Ashley said that my circle, the light looks a little bit like a crescent moon. It kind of does, doesn't it? It's a reflection of my ring light, but it's that's kind of cool. If you think about the details of this new moon, a lot of times I'm telling you, leave the details off of your new moon manifestation list. And that's still true. Like, in other words, if you want abundance, or like, let's say you want a lot more money, just say, I want abundance. Don't put it on your list like, I got to win the lottery, or I have to have it from, this rich relative or some kind of thing. Just leave it off the list. And so, but we do want to think about details as far as like, how are you going to get healthy? Like, let's say you want to have increased good health. Oh, thank you. Ding, ding, ding. Holly did 100 stars. Thank you so much. It's like a small way of giving a donation to the broadcast. I appreciate it. Thank you, Holly. So if you think about the details as far as health, like let's say on your new moon manifestation list, you want to put good health, but secretly behind the scenes, you think maybe I should start drinking smoothies, or maybe I need to take a walk every day, or maybe I need to eat a salad, or some kind of a thing that's going to be your way of getting back to good health, whatever that may be. Oh, Roz, thank you so much. Roz did 200 stars. I missed that. I apologize. Thank you so much. And so, yeah, it's something that we want to keep that in mind, the details. Now, remember, Archangel Metatron is associated with Virgo, and Metatron is all about helping us. Okay, you can say prayers to Archangel Metatron about, being able to kind of bend time, or sort of, we've had weird things with time lately. A lot of planets are retrograde. In fact, 7 planets at the time of this broadcast are retrograde. And a lot of things feel a little bit kind of sticky, or sort of gummed up, or like, we're kind of, a lot of people are waiting on things, like waiting for this, waiting for that. And we are thinking about health, when we look at Virgo is the intestines, it's digestion. So we got to watch that. Okay. Watch our diet. Virgo is very much about diet and whatever. So this is a good new moon, I think, to work out the details. Even though we don't want to put details on our new moon manifestation list, it's still good to have in mind, like, what will it take for me to make more money, or to, what do I need to do? Do you need to work more hours? Do you need a new job? You want to get a pay raise? Maybe this is a good time to initiate those things. Now, here's the catch. The catch is, Mercury's still retrograde until Friday. So this new moon's taking place on Thursday. But remember, as long as the thing is initiated somewhere between the new moon and the full moon, closer to the new moon as possible is generally the general advice typically. As long as we can initiate something between the new moon and the full moon, that's the positive cycle to start new things in our lives. So what I would do is I would wait if you're going to initiate something or start something new, I would wait until the weekend, or even better, maybe at the beginning of next week or something, because you want to give Mercury retrograde time to sort of reverse, okay? Because Mercury is going to be turning direct the next day after the new moon. So instead of starting something new on the new moon, like I would usually say, oh, that's a great day to start new things, I would wait a little bit, and I would do it at the, more next week. Or you could even wait until the second chance new moon if you want. I mean, that's another thing. The second chance new moon comes on Friday the 22nd. And that's the day before the fall equinox. So maybe that would be a fun day to start new things. So I would just kind of, it's almost like this new moon. We want to set the intention. We want to get it down on a piece of paper. We want to think about what we want to start, but we don't actually want to implement until after Mercury goes direct. Mercury is going to go direct the next day on Friday, September 15th at 4:21 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that, 1:21 p.m. on the West Coast. Okay, so Mercury retrograde is going to be over now. Again, we have, like, at the time of this broadcast, we have a few more days left of it. Okay, 5 more days or so left of Mercury retrograde. So we still have to honor that. And it is retrograde in Virgo. See, Mercury's in Virgo, and now the sun's in Virgo. The moon's in Virgo because of this new moon. So there's a lot of Virgo energy. So if you have Virgo in your astrological chart, you're going to be feeling this. Virgos themselves are in ground zero. You're going to be in the very heart of it. But so is Pisces. Okay, Pisces is involved in this too because Pisces is the opposite of Virgo. Now, if you're a Taurus, if you're a Capricorn, well, you're a fellow earth sign. So you might even get a little boost from some of this because, the earth activity is going to be big. If you are another mutable sign, Gemini or Sagittarius, you could feel this to be challenging. In fact, Pisces, you could feel this as almost like a full moon for you. So if you're a Pisces or if your moon's in Pisces, this could be almost like a full moon for you because the moon's going to be in Virgo, which is opposite of you. So that could be a little challenging. But if you are even a Gemini or Sagittarius, there could be a little activity, in your life because it's another mutable sign. Ding, ding, ding. Thank you, Amy. 99 stars. I love that. I appreciate you guys so much. Ashley Ann said Taurus rising and Sagittarius sun. Welcome, welcome. So we have a lot of energy this week, like I said. And we are basically going to be having this new moon and then, like I said, Mercury retrograde. So I think this week is going to feel a little funky. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, funky doesn't necessarily mean bad. It's just funky. It's like we have some things that are on the move. We have these big planets on the move. And I forgot, actually, we have one more. We have Ceres on the move on Friday. Ceres, the great mother, right, is now going to be moving into Scorpio on Friday on the 15th. And so that's another thing. So Ceres is the biggest out of all of the asteroids. And so she's another goddess. So we actually have 3. I said 2, but I apologize. I missed that. There's going to be 3 this week. So Ceres going into Scorpio, well, she's an intense mom. I'll just say that. Scorpio's a little intense. She's a deep mom. She's an intense mom. She's a serious mom. She's a mom that wants to get to the heart of things. And she's like, did you take a cookie out of the cookie jar? And the kid's like, no. And she's like, because she can tell. She has intuition. So Ceres is going to be active 8:51 a.m. Eastern time on Friday. She's going into Scorpio. Ceres is going into Scorpio. So that's a big day on Friday. So in other words, there's not as much, there's more minor sort of things going on. But then when we get, like I said, when we get to Wednesday, we have nothing but activity. Starting on Wednesday, it gets very busy. So anybody have any questions about that new moon? Because I love this new moon in Virgo. This is a fresh start in your Virgo sector. So look at your astrological chart to see what the deal is with Virgo in your chart. Virgo is very much associated with sort of harvest and things like that. And so then we have Ceres, one of the harvest goddesses. She's going to be going into there, into Scorpio, and she'll be on the move. So we have a lot of food related people, active digestion and gut health. I know a lot of people right now that are dealing with some gut health stuff, getting colonoscopies or having, problems with their gut. A lot of Virgos in general, I know have been having some gut stuff. So if you have any gut activity, like obviously you could get checked out, but this could also be one of the things that's stirring up something. So we have to be a little bit more mindful of the things we're eating right now and all that good stuff. So like I said, Mercury is going to be going direct on Friday the 15th, 4:21 p.m. Mercury has been in Virgo all the way since July 28th. And then will continue to be in Virgo all the way until October 4th. So we have a long extended time. Usually Mercury is in each sign for 2 weeks. So we have a long extended time with Mercury in Virgo that's thinking, talking, communicating. How has this Mercury retrograde been for you? Have you had any breakdowns of technology or any miscommunications? Or the fun part of Mercury retrograde, I think, is running into people from the past or hearing from people from the past. I certainly have. I've heard of a bunch of people from my past, which I always find to be delightful. I look forward to that aspect of Mercury retrograde, not the breaking down of stuff for sure, but the more of running into people. Now, Mercury was retrograde all the way since August 23rd until this Friday on September 15th. So what happened during this Mercury retrograde for you? What are we bringing up? What are we reviewing? What are we, again, I was saying a lot of people are doing the RE, even myself. I, went through my house this weekend, reorganized, reconnection, reassess, reevaluate all the RE stuff. So we're we're trying to do all of that stuff with Mercury in Virgo, and this is really about getting organized. I think a lot of it is really getting organized. And remember though, Virgo is so into perfectionism. Nothing's perfect. So we got to remember that even if you set up the perfect system for your file cabinet, it's not going to be like, nothing's perfect. Okay. We're humans and life is a little messy. And so we have to remember that. Now, remember, it takes Mercury a little while to kind of get going. And, it does that thing where it looks like it's going retrograde, reverse in the sky. It stops and then it starts up again. So we have to kind of give it time to start going forward. That's why I said maybe delaying your start until next week. Whatever you can put off, just put off if you can. It's, one more week. So Till said, you've been trying to keep your mouth shut. See, that's good. That's a good thing. We don't want to have those miscommunications because gosh, miscommunications in Mercury retrograde can blow up into like World War III. We don't want to have that happen. Cancel clear on that. But we don't want to have that happen where it just gets out of control. I mean, because those communication things, I mean, they can really be messy during Mercury retrograde. And then it's a lot of going back and, oh God, I had to, explain and explain and explain again. I mean, it can be a little messy. So we don't want to do that. And remember, we have one more week really of it, a few more, up until like 5 more days from now. So we want to make sure that we're staying in the safe zone, okay? We have a few more days left. So yeah. And then on Friday, we do have a bigger planetary transit happening also. So there's a lot of activity on Friday the 15th. We have Ceres going into Scorpio, which is the intense mom. It's being a mother and nurturing and caretaking. It's in Scorpio. Where's Scorpio in your astrological chart? And you'll know how that will affect you. Then we have Mercury going direct. And then we have the sun forming a trine with Uranus. Now, Uranus transits can bring unexpected things. We just have to say that out loud. It can bring something now it's a trine, so that's said to be positive. The sun is in Virgo, Uranus is in Taurus. So, I mean, that it could be a surprise that we don't want sometimes, or it's a surprise. It's just a surprise. It's something out of nowhere, something shocking or whatever. What I often see with Uranus transits is people become very impatient. People become a little erratic sometimes, a little bit all over the place. That can be very Uranus. And so we want to watch that because that's on Friday. Friday night at 9:24 p.m. is the peak of it, or 6:24 if you're on the West Coast. So careful driving home and all that kind of stuff while you're commuting, or if you go out on Friday night, because that could be a little bit, it could be fun. It could be something out of nowhere, right? Like you could unexpectedly meet somebody. This is, by the way, much more conducive if you're going to meet somebody for like a fling. It's not usually a long lasting thing, but it could be fun for now. We'll just say that, a little fun for now moment. And then luckily the next day on the 16th, it's a little more quiet. We'll need a break from all this. I'm just saying it's a little more quiet. But on the 17th, we'll have another really overnight between Saturday and Sunday. We'll have Venus is going to form a square with Jupiter retrograde. Now, Venus is still in Leo. She's still in Leo. We've had Venus in Leo for a long time. And then we have Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, and that's a square at 2:10 a.m. on the 17th. So actually, if you're on the West Coast, it's going to be 11:10 p.m. on the 16th. It'll be overnight. What's important about that is because, look, usually Venus and Jupiter, even when they're square each other, it's not too bad because they get along pretty well. But that could be a little hiccup in the love department over the weekend. And certainly it could be that we have too much expectations of our partner or of ourselves. We don't want to have any pretzeling going on. Does anybody know what that means? Pretzeling, it's a term used when we're trying to contort ourselves to make someone else happy. That we put ourselves into a pretzel. And that's what pretzeling is called. And especially with Pallas Athena going into Libra, we don't want to contort ourselves and try to make to make somebody else happy. And also, we don't want to have too many expectations of our love partner, like, oh, Emily said your anniversary is the 17th, right? So you might be thinking your partner is going to be like candles and opera and like a violin, and I come home and then your spouse is like, hey, what's for dinner? Like, it could be that kind of thing. So we just want to make sure that we kind of reel back our expectations, but also not pretzel, not people please. We don't want to do anything like that because that can be not so good, to do. So you can see this is a very, very busy astrological week. I'm a little surprised I even got through it all in this amount of time. So we have a lot of asteroid stuff on the move. So again, asteroids in general are usually much more subtle, but when there's 3 of them on the move in 1 week, that's a problem. That can start to feel a little bit like, I always say, whenever the planets, like, let's say there's 3 planets in a week that are on the move, it's almost like each department is changing leadership. And so it's not a problem when one does it, but when it's 3 or 4 or 5 or however many, then when it gets to be a lot, it's like, oh my God, where am I going? What am I doing? It's like a lot of switch and switch and switch. So that's basically what the deal is. It's subtler, but we have a lot. So it might not be so subtle because it might feel a little discombobulated. Yes, I used that word. So I was thinking about this week as far as a stone to recommend. Now, with Virgo, I always like sort of green, very earthy sort of stones. Aventurine is one of them that I love, and this is one of those stones. I love a connection to the earth when I think, but I was thinking about there's just so much energy that maybe we should go into a dark stone. Look, I always say if you're not sure what stone to use and you're new to crystals or you're new to stones, dark stones is a way to start. This is a piece of jet. Jet is, I wish you guys could see, it's so light because it's actually petrified wood. That's what jet is. And it's really beautiful. I love jet. But any of the dark colored stones, so like, I'm always wearing my crystals and my stones. I have hematite on, onyx, or any of the different, I have, this is an onyx one right here. Any of the darker colored stones are really good for grounding, getting outside, being in nature with all this earthy energy in Virgo. I think this could be a week where we could really become ungrounded easily. So get outside, get into nature, put your feet in the ground. It hasn't gotten too cold yet. We could put our feet in the ground and, really connect to Mother Earth. And I feel like that could help. Even going to a greenhouse or anything, being around plants and stuff, that all could really be quite medicinal feeling. Drinking some chamomile tea, because again, It's a connection to flowers and plants and herbs and things like that. Could all help to ground our nervous system, because Virgo is the nervous system. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is acting funky right now. So, of course, Geminis and Virgos are going to be feeling that, because that's your ruling planet. Whenever your ruling planet, any of our ruling planets, acts up, we'll feel it, and we'll feel a little funky. So green stones or dark colored stones, I would go for this week. So that's this week in astrology. I don't know if anybody has any questions. But I am going to pull one card, a collective card for everybody at the end of the broadcast. But there's just a lot of energy, like I said, and I think we need to have some grounding with some of this energy. I could see today, I felt fine today, but even when I was like going around, I just feel like as if it was a very ungrounded feeling. Yeah, so... Oh, your brother is a Taurus and coming to visit. Oh, that's nice, Wendy. That is good. Let me see. Let me pull the different card here. Holly's having dental surgery on the 14th. Well, at least it's the new moon, Holly, I'd say. That was good. I believe we did talk about that before with the dental surgery being the day before Mercury going direct. I would love to see you have it done after Mercury retrograde is over, but I don't know. It's still the new moon, so let's see. Well, I'm going to pull a card for Wendy's brother's visit, and then I'll pull a card for Holly. And if anybody else has any questions here, let's see. Wendy. Is your brother under a lot of stress and pressure right now? I feel I got the card of a lot of stress. Yes, you need good Reiki vibes. Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting, Holly. Sorry, Wendy. I apologize. It's interesting, Wendy, because I feel like, does he have like a romantic sort of thing going on right now? Because there's this like there's some romantic stuff. Wendy said a lot of overtime at work. Well, I am getting, there's money here, but I'm also seeing somebody that's kind of going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Like it could be like a lighthearted thing, I don't know, but like I feel like he doesn't know where he stands with this person, and that's kind of interesting. But yeah, he's been feeling, he's all over the place, like with his energy. It's like he has a lot of stress, a lot of demands on him, but then he has this person kind of going in and out. Not that you know of. Oh, well, sorry to say on the broadcast, but that's it looks like a person, but I would almost say there's a fickleness or something going on with this person. So, yeah. So I hope that helps. I think your visit's going to be fine, though. Melinda said, does that include cavities? I'm just because everybody is watching the program and this is a teachable moment, I'm going to say that I personally would not have any dental work done, even teeth cleaning done on a Mercury retrograde, because Mercury is the nerves. Okay. And yikes, we don't want to have any kind of nerve issue or nerve damage or nerve anything. We don't want to have anything with a nerve. So I personally would not. Now, I know a lot of people who have these, in these dental appointments, you got to schedule them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. I always tell people, I'll call you when I get home, and I have to pull up my calendar. I don't have all this, I can't, there's no way to completely memorize all this stuff. It's just too much stuff, the dates and the times. But I will check my calendar before I make appointments like that, for sure. So Melinda asked the question, does that include cavities? I just personally wouldn't do any dental work just because it is nerves. And gosh, if you think about your nerve, we don't want any of that. But having said that, if you already had it scheduled and it's months ago and it's like a mild procedure, you got to do what you got to do. And I understand. If it's your mouth and you're having pain and all that, I mean, sometimes you got to just go, and that, like I always say, if you're, God forbid something happens and you need an emergency, whatever, you can't be like, you know what, I don't need that blood transfusion right now. Mercury's retrograde. It's like, no, you want to get that, so you have to use common sense. I mean, obviously with this, but in the future, I would for sure, you can Google Mercury retrograde and it'll come right up. And it'll tell you 2023 calendar and it'll come up. So, but yeah, I would check that. Melinda said, take your advice. You've never steered me wrong. Oh, thank you, lady. Okay. So till, oh shoot, I forgot. I'm going to pull a quick card for Holly. So if everybody could send Holly good energy, positive vibes, for her dental surgery on the 14th. Let's see. She got a new moon dental. Hopefully it'll be new moon, new you. I don't know why that feels very painful. I'm getting like pain feeling. So yeah, so I want you to take really good care, just, and try to breathe, because it also looks like you have, a lot of stress and anxiety around this, Holly. So we're going to send you lots of love, because you're getting a lot of anxiety cards. So lots of love, lots of good vibes. It always helps. I feel that praying for people, and if Holly could comment, I don't know if she's still on the broadcast. I think that praying for people and sending good vibes to them always helps. Always, I think it helps with faster healing time. I've asked for people to be prayed for, and whatever, send Reiki or whatever it is that you can do, and that'll help, because her nerves are activated. Yes. All right. So Till said she started a new job. So it sounds like you started a new job during Mercury retrograde. So yikes. Look, not every job has to last for 45 years. It's one of those things. So this is what happens. This is a good teachable moment. So this is what happens when we start something new, like Till just started a new job. So if we start something new, when Mercury reverses and starts going direct, again, in this, how it looks in the sky, what I notice is our feelings about that thing can change. So that's why I always say, don't start something new, don't start dating a new person, don't have a new job, blah, blah. Look, sometimes we have to do what we have to do to pay our bills, and we have to do whatever. It's just that it's going to go through some sort of a change, because when Mercury goes direct, all of a sudden it's going to be going in its way, and you might go, I don't know if I like this job this much, or like, I don't know if I like that person this much, or whatever it is. Now, I've had it the opposite way. I used to have a client that the only time she got along with her husband was during Mercury retrograde. Well, Mercury is only retrograde for 9 weeks out of the year, so that was not a good marriage. So, and she didn't like it when Mercury went direct, because it went back into the same old BS for her marriage. That was what happened. So let me do cards, Till. So just be prepared. Your feelings around this might change, and that's going to be natural during the Mercury retrograde. After it's over, I mean, it's going to be natural. That's what happens. That's what we like, our feelings about things kind of gets undone. So let's see. What do we need to know about Till's new job? I want to sing for you for some reason. What does she need to know? Wow, you're getting a lot of cards about nurturing, compassion. I don't know about this job per se. Let me look in this other deck, because this is not what's this new job for Till? It doesn't feel like it's the job forever. I just don't feel that. I apologize about that, but I mean, I feel like it's good for now. I feel like it's a good you're getting a lot of cards. Like, look at this: nurturing, compassion, You do have to clear a little bit of your space. It's about getting rid of clutter and all that kind of stuff. Clearing any kind of negative energy around you. By the way, this is a good time to sage yourself if on the new moon. I like to use that time to sage. You need to just clear some negative energy around you. To have compassion with yourself. Like I'm hearing be gentle. So you're getting nurtured. Like, look, they're all like nurturing this little baby. That's like your inner child. Have compassion. You know, I just feel like you need to be softer, be a little gentler on yourself and others too, because everybody, a lot of people, and I'll say everybody, but a lot of people right now are struggling. And I just feel like we have to remember that when someone cuts us off and when someone's rude and someone's short and someone's this or that, a lot of people right now are suffering or struggling and behind the scenes. And so it's really good to give them like a little break, you know, give yourself a break, but also give them a break. You know, Pallas, Athena in Libra might help us with that. And that Vesta, gosh, I still feel like you're gonna have you might end up having like a different, like, I feel like this is a job and not a career, if that makes sense. It feels like a job, not a career. Job, you clock in, clock out, go home, trade time for money. But career is like a long, you know, that doesn't quite feel like a career. So I hope that helps, Sotil. But I like it for now, and I would just go into it with a lot of positive sort of, I don't want to use the word expectations, but I would just put positivity, because look, even if it's a temporary thing, you can still make the best of it. You can still have a good time. I mean, not everything is meant to last for a million years, you know, and that's okay too. So yeah, so it's a stepping stone. Exactly. It might be a stepping stone. So the cool thing is, I would manifest, if this is a stepping stone, I'd manifest, I want to have this little stepping stone to get me to this bigger, greater thing, and give it your all. Put your best into it. And I think, you know, it might open a door for some other thing. I hope that helps. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for joining the broadcast. So I am going to pull one card. What do we need to know? What does everybody need to know about these 3 asteroids moving, new moon, Mercury retrograde being over? Our feelings might change about some things. Let's see what happens. I noticed that. I don't know if anybody else noticed that when Venus went direct on September 3rd in the romantic and all that, I noticed a shift. I don't know if anybody else noticed a shift, but I noticed a shift where feelings were one way and then it shifted, and then it's like, oh, is that really how, you know? And it's an interesting thing. So people's feelings, a lot of people's feelings shifted around that Venus direct. Well, the same thing that's going to happen for Mercury direct too. Thank you, Sotil. Ding, ding, ding. 50 stars. All right, so I'm going to pull one card. What do we need to know in order to live our best week? What do we need to know? Manifest a new moon and all that magic that we're going about to have. I'm going to pull another card. Yeah, see, a lot of people are struggling right now. I think that's what the deal is. Let's see. I'm going to pull one more card. I'm going to pull 3 cards this week. How do you like that? I'm pulling 3 cards. Someone's asking questions while I'm pulling cards. I'm feeling somebody's trying to like zap me with their question, like into my brain. It's kind of interesting. I'm like, knock, knock, knock. I could feel that in my third eye. It was interesting. Anyway. So first of all, angel therapy, which doesn't surprise me. So give your cares and worries. This is Archangel Raphael. Give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. So if you have too many burdens right now, which a lot of us do, and it's busy and it's hectic, all right, pray. I was just talking to a friend the other day. As much as I talk about praying and meditating and talking to our spirit guides and the person said to me, it never occurred to me to speak to my spirit guides. I was like, really? And this person watches my broadcast, but please talk to them. They want to help you. Just, you know, and you can just talk to them in your mind. You don't have to talk to them out loud. You can say, hey, I just need your help. By the way, that's a brilliant idea. Archangel Uriel. Now, whenever Uriel comes out, yes, your idea is divinely guided. Please take action to bring your idea to to fruition. I wouldn't necessarily take action until next week, but yes, we got to start, we're going to have the ability to do so, because we've been waiting a long time, because Venus and all the other planets were retrograde. So now we're going to be done with the personal planets. After Mercury goes direct, we'll be done with the personal planets being retrograde, and then we'll just be dealing with the outer planets, which is a very common. There are a lot of them. So I'm getting this card, try again and you will succeed. This is the last card I pulled. And I do feel that somebody has some kind of a travel thing also that they were thinking of asking, maybe, or something, a travel situation or whatever. But I would strongly advise this person, whoever it was that was trying to beam me in a question, to get in touch with me and we can do a private session. Okay, I love you all. Thank you so much for listening, for tuning in. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, remember I have the goal. I don't know if I'm going to make my goal, but I have the goal of getting 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. There's still time. We could still do it. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, recommending the broadcast to friends. And if you'd like to have a personalized astrological session, feel free to send me a text message is best, or a DM, Facebook, or wherever you're watching. So thank you very much, everybody. Happy new moon. Remember, stay grounded, because this week is a little ungrounding potentially. All right, everybody, take care. Namaste and have a great night.